Today on the podcast, we're talking about a big advancement in AI, and this is not necessarily a huge advancement we're hearing for the first time today, but this is the fact that Amazon is launching its Bedrock generative AI service in general availability. So this is something they've talked about in the past, but it was, kind of always just like this beta thing, and it's officially general availability. Everyone can access it. We're going to talk about the implications and why I think this is a really big step and maybe a pivotal place in the AI space. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. If you are interested in seeing really interesting AI use cases, make sure to follow me over on x.com, formerly Twitter, as I will be sharing some really cool use cases of AI, and I kind of, retweet some of the greatest things I'm seeing in the space every day. So make sure to follow me at Jaden_AI. I'll drop a link to that, but also my handle is in the podcast cover. I would love to have you in the community. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. Today, Amazon has officially launched Bedrock, which is its centralized service for curated selection of generative AI models. And this is really, I think, opening the door for AWS customers to incorporate these AI models into their applications and operations. So first introduced in April, right? This is not new. This is something that Amazon kind of, I think, when the whole AI wave started, they made the announcements and kind of started talking about way back in April. This is a trend I think we're seeing a lot in the industry. Even today, I'm seeing announcements out of Google and Microsoft where they're like, yeah, we're going to do this really cool thing, but it's going to launch in Q1 of next year. So, I think people are there's a lot of hype around AI. They're making their announcements now, marking their territory, and then they kind of work towards those. And that's kind of what Amazon did. But Bedrock now is live, and it offers a fusion of Amazon's own generative AI models and those from third-party partners, which is all accessible through an API. So the service aims to provide businesses with the tools they need to develop AI agents that can perform tasks ranging from booking travel to managing inventories and even things like processing insurance claims. So Amazon's Bedrock appears at a, I think, really critical time in the adoption of AI. It's definitely providing a big array of, options to brands and developers. And according to the company, the platform is soon going to feature Llama 2, which of course is an open source large language model developed by Meta. This is going to be alongside models from other industry players. I think they have AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Stability AI, a lot of these big players, right? And Amazon purports that Bedrock will be the first quote unquote fully managed generative AI service to essentially offer both the 13 billion and 70 billion parameter version of Llama 2. So for the uninitiated on this, parameters essentially constitute the part of an AI model that are learned from historical data. So determining the model's efficacy in problem-solving tasks like text generation, for example. So, however, all that being said, I think it's noteworthy the Llama 2 isn't a newcomer to cloud-based generative AI services. It's also available on Google's Vertex AI. So Google kind of beat Amazon and AWS to that. But when we're kind of looking, I think, to the future, looking at the difference between Bedrock versus Vertex AI is kind of like Google's platform for this, but it's something I've talked about a lot in the past. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think is perhaps the AWS edge here. And so I think while comparisons between Bedrock and Google Vertex AI are inevitable, Amazon makes a really compelling case for its platform's unique advantages. So Swami Sivasubramanian is the VP of Data and AI at AWS, and they kind of pointed out that Bedrock seamlessly integrates with existing AWS services such as AWS Private Link. So this enables a secure connection between Bedrock and a company's virtual private cloud. And so Swami was recently saying, quote, over the last year, the proliferation of data, access to scalable compute, and advancements in machine learning have led to a surge in interest in generative AI, sparking new ideas that could transform entire industries and reimagine how work gets done. So I think it is worth noting that this supposed edge might be more, perception than reality. The purported advantages kind of depend largely on a customer's current cloud infrastructure, which is an aspect that I think Swami does not kind of directly acknowledge. So when we're kind of looking at this, I think at the end of the day, this really does provide more tools in the arsenal. And so what I mean by that is that right now, in tandem with Bedrock's announcement, Amazon has also rolled out its Titan embedding models. So this first-party model focuses on converting text into numerical representations, known as embeddings. And this is done to enhance search and personalization applications. So the Titan embeddings model boasts support for around 25 languages, and it can process text chunks or even entire documents of up to over 8,000 tokens, which roughly is around 6,000 words. So this places it right on par with the latest embedding models from OpenAI, but sometimes we're seeing bigger ones in other places. In any case, there's definitely a lot of hurdles to overcome here, and some of these initial ones I think they're really focusing on. So Amazon's Bedrock services definitely has not been without its challenges. Bloomberg reported in May that the platform struggled in its early days, lacking widespread access among cloud customers. And this was 6 weeks after its debut, with an ambitious kind of press release and I think just one testimonial. But in any case, Amazon appears to be doubling down on its investment in AI, especially following its recent multi-billion-dollar stake in AI startup Anthropic. I think originally, right, they gave Anthropic over $1 billion and said they'll invest up to $4 billion. And this is kind of through AWS, making sure that Anthropic is on, AWS's platform for their compute. So I think today's announcement kind of marks Amazon's aggressive play into this growing market for generative AI, a sector which is seeing increasing interest and investment across industries. I think with Bedrock, Amazon is really aiming to kind of democratize access to generative AI models. It's offering a really robust platform for businesses ranging from startups to established enterprises. I think it's going to make a big difference in the industry moving forward, because AWS, of course, is the number one cloud provider for a majority of businesses. And I think, having these tools built right in is going to really accelerate adoption and, make it a lot easier for businesses to implement a lot of these tools. So very interesting to see how this progresses in the future, but definitely big steps from Amazon.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.